This story is called Keeping Up with Rue by Sharlee Glenn. Keeping Up with Rue. Gracie and Rue were best friends. It didn't matter that Rue was almost as old as Mama, and Gracie was only 5. When Gracie was a baby, Rue was the only one who could calm her when she got into a crying fit. Rue would take Gracie into her big arms and swoop down around the room singing, "Hang down your head, Tom Dooley, hang down your head and cry." Gracie's little chin would quiver and unspilled tears would puddle in her eyes as she stared up at Rue. Rue spent so much time holding the baby that Mama complained Gracie wouldn't know who was her mama and who was her aunt, but Mama smiled when she said it. It was Rue who taught Gracie how to walk. One day, shortly after Gracie's first birthday, Mama had to run into town. She asked Rue to babysit. When Mama got home, there was baby Gracie, arms flung toward the sky, little legs pumping, trying to keep up with her aunt, who was marching through the backyard to her own version of Stars and Stripes Forever, scattering chickens in her wake. Now that Gracie was 5, she and Rue played together almost every day. As soon as her chores were done, Gracie would race over to the old farmhouse where Rue lived with her grandma and grandpa, and what adventures they would have. Running barefoot through the cornfield during rainstorms, stuffing themselves with that tart red bullberries down by the river, and tumbling down haystacks. Once they both fell off the old slicker when they tried to make him jump into the coral fence. Rue sprained both her wrists. Gracie landed on top of Rue and wasn't hurt at all. They loved climbing trees and catching water skeeters and making whistles out of snake grass. But what they loved most was playing school. They set up their classroom under the willow tree in Grandma's yard using a couple of old apple crates for desks. Rue was always the teacher. She would tap her crate with a willow switch and say, "Now repeat after me. 1 + 1 equals 2. 2 + 2 equals 4. And 4 + 4 equals 8. That was as far as they would go with math, but Rue knew her ABCs and how to read easy books, so soon Gracie did too. Then summer was over and it was time for Gracie to start real school. Both Gracie and Rue cried. "Why can't Rue come with me too?" Gracie sobbed. "Your Aunt Ruth is much too big for kindergarten," said Mama. So off Gracie went in the huge yellow school bus. Rue stood in the road and waved until the bus turned at the crossroads and disappeared. Every day when Gracie got home, she and Rue would meet under the willow tree. When winter came, they moved inside to Rue's bedroom. By the time Gracie was in 2nd grade, she had taken over the willow switch and the teacher's desk. Gracie taught Rue how to count by 5s, how to do dot to dots, and how to spell school. SCHOOL. Kitten, KITTEN, and November, NOVEMBER. And she taught her that 8 + 8 equals 16. So Rue spent her afternoons practicing her spelling and watching for the bus. But then, one day, Gracie didn't want to have school when she got home. She wanted Mama to drive her into town to play at Sarah's house instead. And the next day, she had to go to piano lessons. Every afternoon, when Rue saw the old school bus rattle by, she would rush out to the willow tree, sit at her apple crate, and wait. Sometimes Gracie came, but sometimes she didn't. One day, Sarah came to Gracie's house after school to play. Rue saw them get off the bus and ran down the lane to meet them. "Who is that?" asked Sarah, grabbing Gracie and pointing at Rue. Gracie looked up. Rue was wearing a pair of Grandpa's old overalls and a huge flowered shirt. She had been experimenting with hairstyles again, and a long green and purple ribbon stemmed from a braid here, a pin curl there, as she bounced along and flapped her arms like an overgrown turkey. "Oh, no, buddy," Gracie said hurriedly and took Sarah's hand. "Come on, I'm starving." Gracie looked back once as she walked toward the house. Rue had stopped in the middle of the road. The green and purple ribbons fluttered gently around her legs. She just stood there, like an abandoned maypole, watching them go. Gracie sliced ripe bananas onto graham crackers, then drizzled chocolate sauce over the top for an after-school snack. "This is good," said Sarah between bites. "My Aunt Ruth made it up," said Gracie. Then she closed her eyes tight and shook her head, trying to erase the picture of Ruth standing there alone in the road. Suddenly, she didn't feel very hungry. When Sarah had finished off the last graham cracker, they went into Gracie's room. Gracie showed Sarah her dolls, her rock collection, and the blue ribbon she'd won at last summer's 4-H fair. "What's this?" asked Sarah, fingering a piece of brilliant painted glass hanging from a string in the front of Gracie's window. "Oh, that's just something my Aunt Ruth gave me," said Gracie. "Let's go outside." They explored the treehouse, then went down by the creek. "Look," said Gracie, plopping down on the bank and dangling her bare feet in the water. "If you pull out a piece of snake grass and tear it right here, and then split the end, you can make a whistle." "Neato," said Sarah. "Where did you learn to do that?" Gracie didn't answer. Blowing gently on her whistle, she watched the water swirl around at her feet. Suddenly, she stood up. "Sarah," she said, "there's someone I want you to meet." They found Rue inside Grandma's house, watching reruns on TV. Rue's eyes opened wide when she saw them. "Hurry up, Rue! We're late for school. It'll be even more fun with 3, said Gracie. Rue beat them to the willow tree. She found the switch behind the teacher's desk and handed it to Gracie. "No, Rue," said Gracie, handing it back. "You be the teacher this time." Proudly, Rue took the switch and tapped it on the apple crate. "Now, class, repeat after me," she said. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. 4 + 4 = 8. And 8 + 8 = 16. The end.